Hello, everyone. Yes, we are all welcome to today's live session. We are happy to have you here. Finally, the Election Tribunal has given us a date for their final ruling, and we can't wait to have that happen. But I tell you, there are fears, there are also hopes, and so many people can't wait to hear what this final verdict is going to look like. Well, we all know that just some days ago, I think 2 days ago, Justice Odele came out to make a statement, as in she made a statement, saying that those that are going to lose out of this tribunal shouldn't bring down the roof of our nation. And so many people have been wondering, don't forget that that gathering was mostly made of APC apologists, we couldn't find the Labour Party people or people that are of the Labour Party group in that forum. They were mostly APC supporters. And Nigerians were surprised, hearing that from a former justice. And just 1 or 2 days after that gathering, they've given us a date to come up with the final verdict. We can't wait to hear that. And this evening, we'll be digesting all this. What are Peter Obi's prayers? What are his chances? Is our judiciary, our judges, are they ready to dispense justice? What and what are we expecting from them, if not just this justice that we are asking from them? So I'm going to be allowing Dr. Tel to come in here to break down all the latest happening around this final judgment that will be delivered in just 2 days' time. Doctor, please, over to you.
Well, it's actually good evening, viewers, and I hope we enjoy ourselves this evening. It's actually less than 2 days now because today is gone. But I am troubled, and permit me, just give me a second. Let me shut down my system. It's making a whole lot of. Excellent. Sorry, please. I am a bit troubled. The way you started, which is important. Just over the weekend, APC apologists, the Wike camp, all of them, Olani Bekun SAN, they were all there. They were all there in Gadzaman's colloquium. And everything was about telling us how the election was driven by ethnicity, driven by religion. And Mrs. Odele telling us why we should not allow the roof come down when the judgment was delivered. I will encourage anybody who is listening or watching this program to go to our program yesterday, our live session yesterday. I did make a statement that yesterday based on what happened in Enugu State after the governorship election. When INEC hijacked the results from Enugu, what was supposed to be announced in Enugu by law, they hijacked it and took it to Abuja and reduced overvoting that was about 30,000 votes. They reduced it to somewhere below 20,000, just so they can give PDP a lead by about 3,000. Before they deliver that result, before they declare the return of PDP as the winner of that election, people of Enugu State gathered in front of INEC headquarters in Enugu. They were keeping vigil there for days, dancing, praying, cooking, and eating without spoiling anything, without harming anybody. But that evening, when they were to deliver that manipulated declaration, the former governor of Old Anambra State, Senator Jim Ifeanyi came with security men to talk to those people who were, as it were, doing peaceful demonstration. He told them that he liked the way they were demonstrating, that he liked the way they have conducted themselves, And just like Mrs. Mary Odele, he told them, please, whatever the outcome is, that they should take it in good faith. In the evening, the hammer dropped. The hammer dropped that Enugu people were manipulated. Their mandate was taken from them. Over the weekend, they planned this Gazaman's colloquium. Olani Bekun SAN, who happens to be the lawyer representing the president, and Wike's people like Odele and Co. When Justice Mary Odele was mentioning the smart election petition lawyers, he mentioned only those who are loyal to APC, the current APC. What of the PDP litigation lawyers? What of the Labour Party? What of the APM? Where is the likes of Liviu Zoku there? Where are all those people? Where are the balance of opinion? And then, just after that weekend, the first working day of the week, they told us that they would deliver judgment. What is it that they are managing here? What is this? What is this psychology of Nigerians they think that they are managing here? And why do they necessarily need to manage the psychology of Nigerians? Because all over media, that is what is reigning. They are telling us of the day the judgment will be delivered on Wednesday. They are telling us what Mrs. Mary Odele said day before yesterday. What are they managing? That's the way I think. What is it they know that we do not know? What is it they have done that they are now trying to manage our psyche before that day? Why are they mobilizing security? According to the letter that they wrote, they say adequate security has been made. And then they use that statement for transparency sake, that they will make the announcement, they will deliver the judgment live. Television houses are free to come. Do we need that in the delivery of the judgment or during the trial? We asked for the trial to be done on camera for transparency's sake, so that every Nigeria will hear the argument. Let it not be a hearsay. We wanted to hear the argument of Labour Party, the argument of APM, the argument of PDP, the argument of INEC, the argument of APC. And they refused. They did not even allow people to come with ordinary audio recorder. Audio recorder. Because audio recorder is not going to disturb anybody. You can have an audio recorder that is small and put it in your pocket. Every phone has audio recorder. For transparency's sake, they could have had audio recorder in that place. And they refused audio recorder. They refused camera. They refused the press. They refused the media. And now they want to come and deliver the judgment on camera for transparency's sake. Who is trying to fool who here? Now, when I say that my fears are growing even more, that these people are capable, these old people who have been controlling Nigeria, who have kept us in this sorry state, that they may not care the damage they want to do, provided they retain themselves in power. I am seeing people who are so determined to do whatever it takes to perpetuate themselves in power, despite how Nigerians feel about it. Despite the abundant evidence, despite the apparent manipulation, my hunch is telling me the president left for G20 meeting in India so that it will look like, oh, I'm in faraway India, oh, I am not there oh, to influence anything, oh, the country is running. You know, are you putting one and one together? Are you piecing my thinking together to see how these things are orchestrated? And I am asking myself, Who is going to be that that judge that will read the lead judgment? That will allow himself to be that person that will betray Nigerians. As I talk now, my mind went to Bible story of that night that Jesus was betrayed. Right there in that Last Supper, according to the Bible story, Jesus said, the person that I will give this bread now will betray me. He gave that bread to John the Baptist. I'm sorry, to Judas Iscariot. He collected that bread. He ate, got up, left, and went to arrange for Jesus to be kidnapped. Sitting with him, and I ask myself this night, who is that judge that will now stick out his neck to be the Judas of Nigeria? I pray that it's not like that. Because I don't want to speak more about what also ended up happening to Judas. Because when he came back running, begging, it was so late for him. So I don't know if I am making sense this evening. But it is important that I put this clear, that this is my personal concerns. Weaving together all that has been happening in the past week, leading to today's announcement, to me, it looks orchestrated. It looks planned. It looks like some people have seen the script and they are managing, crisis management. They are managing it ahead of time. But I can't say all. God is still in heaven. All this might just be my feelings based on the fact that we have been dealing with a system that we can't trust. And so I am being pessimistic. I wish I am wrong in my pessimistic analysis this night. And I pray to be wrong so that Nigeria and their expectations will be right. I pray that these fears I'm raising are not founded. I pray that I am wrong in my fears, so that Nigerians will be right in their expectations. You know what I feel like? If these people want to betray Nigeria, I feel like one man somewhere is sweating. I feel like one man somewhere is telling his wife, they are making me do this. I feel like one man somewhere is telling his children, please, don't blame me. My hands are tied. I feel like one man or one woman somewhere is saying to the children, to the sons-in-laws and the daughters-in-laws, who probably may have been saying, Mommy, Daddy, you can't allow these people to push you this far. I feel like they are saying to him or to her, don't do this. And he's calling them and saying, my people, I can't help myself. This is not me, but I can't go back. My hands are tied. You know who I'm talking about? That judge that will read the lead judgment. I feel that this particular judgment, if it is a judgment they have orchestrated to betray Nigerians, will be the last judgment he will read, and he will lose the taste of this profession for the rest of his practice, because he knows that he's betraying a country to please just a few men. I feel so. But as I said, I also pray that all these my fears, that it will be debunked, that I will be wrong, that when I sit here exactly the same time on Wednesday, that I'll be saying, thank God I was wrong and Nigerians were right. I hate to be here on Wednesday saying, I thought so. It has played out just as I imagined. I hate to be that person. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, so thank you very much. Honestly, everybody, when you go to the social media, you find out that so many people do not even know the direction that this judgment will be going. Because looking at what is playing out, it appears these people want to be smart, as in they want to play the Nigerian people. But so many people have been voicing, their own mind, saying that for the judges not to disqualify the sitting president, meaning that they've sold their conscience, honestly, because we have enough proof. We have enough proof to disqualify Tinubu. The judges cannot afford to play with that democracy. So I'm going to be playing this clip and allow Doc to analyze it.
The petitions filed by the PDP and Atiku Abubakar and that of the Labour Party and Peter Obi is set to come up on Wednesday, September 6, 2023. The notice of the judgment was communicated by the Secretary of the Presidential Election Petition Court to all the parties on Monday. Both Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar are challenging INEC's declaration of APC's Bola Tinubu as president on grounds that the election was riddled with corrupt practices and also that Tinubu was not qualified to contest. On March 1st, 2023, the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC declared Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu winner of the February 25, 2023 presidential election. In the results announced by INEC, Tinubu polled 8,794,726 votes, representing 36.61% of the total votes cast at the election to emerge victorious. Atiku, who came second, scored 6,984,520, representing 29.07% of the votes cast, while Obi scored 6,101,533, representing 25.40% of the votes cast during the disputed election. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso of the NNPP came forth with 1,496,687, representing 6.40% of the votes cast. On May 8, 2023, the five-member Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, led by Justice Haruna Samani, began sitting at the Court of Appeal Complex in Abuja. However, less than 1 week after the panel began its proceedings, two aggrieved political parties withdrew their petitions at the tribunal. The affected political parties were the Action Alliance AA, which fielded Solomon Okabwa as its presidential candidate, and the Action Alliance, which fielded Major Hamza Al-Mustafa as its presidential candidate for the poll.
Action Alliance sponsored a candidate by name Dr. Hamza Al-Mustafa. His name and logo appeared on the ballot spot, so it was not unlawfully excluded as erroneously claimed. And the petition that was filed purportedly on behalf of Action Alliance was not instructed by Action Alliance, neither did Action Alliance consent to the filing of that petition. There is a subsisting order of the FCT High Court mandating INEC to deal with Barrister Kenneth Udeze, the late national chairman of Action Alliance. In compliance with that judgment, INEC wrote to Barrister Kenneth Udeze to recognize him as the national chairman. And the court also ordered INEC not to collect any primary nomination or nominated name from any other person than Barrister Kenneth Udeze as a chairman. And this faction that filed a petition went on appeal. They appealed that judgment. It is pending before the Court of Appeal, Abuja Division. Now, INEC, in compliance with that judgment, dealt with the Barrister Kenneth Udeze, late national chairman of Action Alliance. Now,
we are very happy that at last the sitting of the court has started with this inauguration. And as you see, the court committed itself to cooperate and ensure that these petitions are expeditiously dealt with.
This court, maybe let me repeat myself. I said that the decision to be rendered will impact on Nigeria's electoral jurisprudence, judicialism, and constitutionalism. It's very, very important that this is made known.
At the Presidential Election Court, the APM is praying the tribunal to nullify the election of Tinubu on the ground that APC did not properly sponsor him. Tinubu, for fielding Kashim Shettima as his vice presidential candidate without withdrawing his earlier nomination as a senatorial candidate. APC had nominated Shettima as the Borno Central Senatorial District candidate and later nominated by the same party as vice presidential candidate following the withdrawal of one Kabiru Masari, the initial vice presidential candidate to Tinubu. Therefore, OJ and her political party, the APM, contended that Shettima and the APC breached the Electoral Act by engaging in the alleged double nomination. However, during the proceedings of July 14, 2023, where final addresses were adopted, APM, through its counsel, Andrew Malgu, SAN, asked the court to invoke relevant laws to nullify the nomination of Tinubu and Shettima on the grounds of unlawful, illegal, and unjustifiable nomination. But INEC prayed the court to dismiss the petitions for lacking in merit. The APC, represented by Lateef Fagbemi, SEN, asked the court to dismiss the petition on all grounds for being frivolous, irritating, and unwarranted. Fagbemi argued that the petition died on arrival, given the Supreme Court judgment that other political parties could not interfere in the internal affairs of another party, especially on the issue of nomination. Similarly, Tinubu and Shettima, represented by Chief Wole Olanipekun, SEN, argued that the APM's petition should not have been filed in the first instance and demanded its outright dismissal. Olanipekun told the tribunal that the petition ought to have been withdrawn honorably immediately after the Supreme Court pronounced that no party has the right to dabble into how another party nominated its candidates. In the case of Peter Obi, the Labour Party LP is also...
So, Doc, please, before we come to that of Peter Obi, can you just break down that of the APM? Because I think that's really a very strong point.
It's very, very important. You see, APM has a very strong point here, and I think we have said it in our previous programs. If there is a change of anybody, maybe someone dies or someone voluntarily withdraws his nomination, the political party is bound to replace that person within 14 days. When Masari swore an affidavit and withdrew from the election, from the nomination as the vice presidential candidate of APC, it took APC 21 days instead of 14 days to replace Masari with Shettima. APM is saying, according to law, for having breached that 14 days margin, Tinubu himself is disqualified. He is now no longer lawfully nominated by his party. By law, APC should go and do another primary election and select a new presidential candidate. That is APM's prayer. If it is upheld, all the story is gone. However, you can see that in the defense by Olanipekun SAN, who happens to be, he didn't even mention the matter in question. He went technical by saying that Supreme Court had ruled that other parties do not have anything, do not have a say in another party. That's not true. That's not the law. That is a pre-election matter. If it is a pre-election matter, it is within party argument. The moment it becomes a post-election matter, other parties have, because you have come to contest with other parties, and they are trying to say, you cannot be competing with us when the same standard that brought us, you did not meet that standard. So you can see that the argument of APC's defense lawyer, Olanipekun SAN, did not even touch the merit of the case. The merit of the case is, one, did these people replace their candidate within 14 days or not? If yes, there's no case. If no, there is a case. So Nigerians, it is important we understand this. APM's case alone may be the Goliath, as we have said, that may be the David, please, that will pull down this Goliath that has been threatening Nigeria of our Nigerian politics. That is APM. Small, strong, and mighty. Let's go.
Yes, I'm just wondering how the judges will be able to trash this case, this particular point that the APM is holding on. I don't know what kind of technicality. How are they even going to like say it doesn't matter when they know that this double nomination is real? As in the time difference is there and indicates that APC did not follow the constitution. So let's look at Peter Obi's prayer.
Praying the tribunal to invalidate President Bola Tinubu's election. The petitioners called 13 witnesses before closing their case on June 23, 2023. In their final written address, dated July 20, 2023, the petitioners argued that Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima were not qualified to contest the poll. They argued that Tinubu was fined $460,000 for an offense involving dishonesty, namely narcotics trafficking, imposed by the United States District Court, Northern District of Illinois, Eastern Division, in case number 93C44833 between the United States of America and Tinubu, while his running mate Shettima was the APC's candidate for Borno Central Senatorial District and vice presidential candidate for the whole of Nigeria in the same election year. They also argued that Tinubu failed to win the majority of the lawful vote cast in the election, just as he could not secure 1/4 of the lawful votes cast in the Federal Capital Territory FCT Abuja, as required by law. The petitioners also alleged that the election was conducted in substantial non-compliance with the provisions of the law. They also contended that Tinubu was not duly elected by a majority of the lawful votes cast at the time of the election. Therefore, the LP candidate and his party urged the court to either declare him as the president-elect, believing that he scored the majority of the lawful votes during the election, or alternatively, nullify the entire election and order a fresh election. They also urged the court to hold that Tinubu at the time of the election was not qualified to contest the presidential poll. But on August 1, 2023, during adoption of the final written addresses, INEC's legal team, led by Abubakar Mahmood, SAN, prayed the court to dismiss the petition for want of merit. Chief Wale Olanipekun, SAN, counsel to Tinubu and Shettima, and Prince Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, representative of the APC, also prayed the court to dismiss the petitioner's case.
On this shop we run, I do not want to predict the court because we presented a lot of issues.
In his petition, Atiku Abubakar and the PD.
Yeah, Doc, take us on that of Peter Obi, his prayers.
They talked about Tinubu not being qualified on about a few grounds here. Not qualified because of the forfeiture in the US, the 460,000. I mean, we're not going to overflog it again. It is a popular thing. It's all over. He's not qualified because he did not nominate vice president the right way. How? Now, the APM's issue with nomination is not the same thing with Labour Party. APM is saying Tinubu himself is now illegally nominated. But Labour Party is saying that Shettima was not legally nominated. APM is implying that Shettima may have been legally nominated, but Tinubu is not legally nominated because Shettima was brought in after 14 days door had been closed. But Labour Party is saying we didn't even pay attention to the fact that Tinubu himself had ruined his chances by breaching that 14 days. They were interested in the fact that Shettima, by the time he was made the replacement of Masari, that his name was still in the database of INEC as a senatorial candidate. That ordinarily, they should have pulled out that of his senatorial candidate before filing in that of vice presidential. But they mixed it. It's a technical thing. They submitted vice presidential today and pulled out the senatorial tomorrow, making him stay in the database of INEC for at least 24 hours as a double nomination person, holding two constituencies. Constituency number one is vice presidential, which is the whole country. Constituency number two is Borno Central, which is a senatorial zone. So, but that alone made him become a double nominated candidate. And because of his double nomination, he stands disqualified. And because he stands disqualified, he will automatically disqualify his boss. That is the second disqualification. Then the third disqualification is the issue of FCT, where they did not get 25%. As we have said over time, even as I was saying yesterday, that I don't believe that Nigeria voted based on ethnic or religious sentiment, because when you come to Abuja, which is the melting pot of the whole Nigeria, Labour Party got over 70% of all the votes cast in that particular place, showing that all Nigerians of different ethnic background, religious background, political background, and what have you, ended up voting for who they believe in. So if Abuja is melting pot of the whole Nigeria, and it is more like a no man's land, it is a place where the president will be the governor. The law requires that in addition to winning the majority of the vote cast, in addition to winning 25% in 24 states, you must also come to Abuja and win 25%, whereas APC got only less than 17% in Abuja. So these three made it impossible for him to have been declared president and even sworn in. And now they come to the non-compliance. No, to not that he did not win the majority of votes. Now, Labour Party is praying that if all the votes were to be checked and recounted, and all the manipulation and all the mutilated results were to be discounted, that APC will not be the party that won the majority of votes. I mean, we remember some states where they shifted vote from Labour Party to APC. If those votes were to be returned, we know it in Benue State, we know it in Lagos State, we know it in Plateau State, we know it in Rivers State. If they were to return back, APC will drop, Labour Party will come up, and they will become the winner. And then they say that INEC did not comply substantially to the rules that was set out in the Electoral Act. That we have also discussed times without number on this platform. They did not do collation the way it's supposed to be done. You cannot do collation without the result having been uploaded, even if you did not upload it the same day. Even if you have to upload it the next day, it means you have to suspend collation until the next day, because the law requires that the collation officer must have the result on the IREV, the accreditation on the IREV, the physical accreditation, and then the physical result. 4 items, but INEC went on to do collation by quote and unquote 2 items. And because of that, basically the whole result, if the court is to look at it that way, the whole result will be cancelled. And that is what led to the prayer of Labour Party saying, if you want to go ahead and return our votes back to us, we will be the winner, declare us president. But if you say, okay, I don't like what INEC has done, they did not comply substantially to the Electoral Act, cancel the whole thing, and let's go back to the field again. That's Labour Party.
He asked the tribunal to invalidate Tinubu's election on grounds of non-compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022 in conducting the poll. The petitioner's case is that for any of the candidates in the February 25, 2023 poll to be declared winner, they must score 25% of the votes cast in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, arguing that the purported failure of Tinubu to meet the said constitutional requirement invalidated his election. The Electoral Commission deployed the bimodal voters accreditation system machines for the accreditation of voters and uploading of photographic images of result sheets on the INEC results viewing portal in the last national election. Atiku and the PDP argued that whereas Professor Mahmoud Yakubu had repeatedly assured the public that the February 2023 general election will be the best election ever, with a guaranteed use of the bimodal voters accreditation system (BVAS) and real-time and direct uploading of the polling unit results to the Commission's electronic collation system and results viewing portal (IREV), the bypass and non-use of the BVAS machines in the transmission of the accreditation data and polling unit results of the election fundamentally and substantially affected the integrity of the results announced by the INEC for both Tinubu and his political party, APC, and thoroughly discredited the process of the election. Atiku is also invoking the margin of lead principle to assert that INEC's hasty announcement of Tinubu as the winner of the presidential poll is unconstitutional and without due process. The principle states that when the margin of lead between the winner and the runner-up is less than the total number of voters affected by cancellations in their different polling units, the election is declared inconclusive and a rerun organized.
We all adopted our final written addresses, which are our final submissions in this case, summarizing all the evidence we tendered before the court. You saw all the witnesses we called, all the exhibits we tendered. So today, we now summarized and adopted our submissions. So now, the matter has been adjourned for judgment. In other words, we have done our own bit, and as it is said, the ball is now in the court of the court.
But during proceedings on August 1, 2023, when the parties adopted their final written addresses, Atiku's lead counsel, Chief Chris Uche, SAN, prayed the court to overturn Mr. Tinubu's victory and declare Atiku Nigeria's president. He reiterated that the deployment of technology during the election by the electoral umpire was to enhance the transparency of results collation, where fraud often occurs. Chris Uche contended that during the February 25 presidential election, there was a deliberate bypass of the technology to create room for manipulation of results. He told the court that INEC deployed technology in the conduct of the election. Therefore, the burden is on INEC to explain what transpired during the polls. But defending its declaration of Tinubu as the winner of the March 25, 2023 presidential poll, INEC's lawyer Abubakar Mahmoud urged the court to dismiss Atiku's suit for lacking in merit. In INEC's final argument, Mahmoud told the court that Atiku failed to discharge the burden placed on him by law in proving his allegations against the conduct of the election. The electoral umpire's lawyer said contrary to Atiku's claim, the deployment of the bimodal voters accreditation system machines and INEC results viewing (IREV) for the presidential election was successful. Also, Tinubu's lawyer Olanipekun argued that Atiku had abandoned his petition owing to his inability to prove his case. He told the court that Atiku resorted to attacking Tinubu's person instead of proving his allegations. On the manual collation of the presidential election results, Olanipekun contended that the mode adopted did not diminish the credibility of the electoral process. Uploading results to IREV, whether manually or electronically, plays no role in the collation of results. It does not add or decrease the number of votes. Collation is physical and manual. By constitutional provision, the tribunal has until September.
All right. I think the video clip, you were just trying to tell us when the Constitution has until the delivery of the result. Of course, majority of the things that PDP prayed, Labour Party prayed too. INEC non-compliance, deliberate manipulation of BVAS, and not getting FCT. But I want to move down to the response. Olanipekun, representing Tinubu, said, IREV plays no role in the collation of the result. Let me put it this way. There's a statement that says that the petitioners know the truth. The respondents know the truth. It is the judges that are on trial. Because the Supreme Court, in the case of Oyetola versus Adeleke, specified clearly without mincing words that IREV upload is part and parcel of the election day process when it comes to collation. You cannot do without collation. Collation is when you gather the result and add them. And we have said it times without number on this platform. We have quoted the relevant sections of the law. Section 47, Section 60, Section 63, all of them. Section 65. All of them talks about the result, EC8A, the upload, the collation. Without IREV, there shall be no collation, because the law specifies that peradventure there is a dispute during the process of collation, that the collation officer shall rely on the result uploaded to be able to confirm which result that is authentic, because the party agents and an INEC polling unit officer who may have been bought on the way may have manipulated the physical copy, changing the number. And the only way the collation officer will determine which one is fake is to refer to that one that had been uploaded and use the answer that is there to compare with the one that had been in contention. If this A is not exactly as what is on the IREV, he will keep it and use it to collate. If this B is not what was on the IREV, in principle, it will be torn because it is manipulated. The question Nigerians need to ask is this: was there contention during the election? Yes. Was there argument about whether the result was corrected or not? Yes. Did we have anything on the IREV with which we can compare? No. Did INEC go ahead and announce the result or not? Yes. Have they broken that section that is very, very important? Yes. What did INEC say in section 2.9.0 of their training manual? INEC said in section 2.0.9 of their manual that because of the manipulation of results between the polling unit and the collation center, whereby results may be hijacked, manipulated, rewritten, that they have introduced IREV to boycott all those things. And that same thing INEC said is what they ended up not doing. The judges, Nigerians are waiting. Shebina Wednesday. We are waiting to hear how you will say that this thing I am saying and which PDP prayed is no longer the law. We are waiting to see how you people will say it. I don't know how heavy it will be in the mouth of that judge that will tell us that lie. I don't even know how he will be able to get up from that seat and go back to his chambers. Nigerians are waiting. Nigerians are waiting. We still have the final written address with us. We have it. We have the final written address where all the argument for and against, both the one of PDP, the one of APC, the one of Labour Party, the one of APM, the one of INEC, we have it. We have it. Oh, it's no longer those days when you people stay in the secret of the courts to do all the conja and deliver the result. Peter Obi has opened our eyes. He told us to go and verify. All of us today are unlicensed constitutional lawyers because we have read the Constitution. It's written in English. All of us are experts now because we have read the Electoral Act from page 1 to page end. Can't you see me quoting offhand the sections of the law? That thing they used to come and bamboozle us in the court. Section this, subsection that. We all know those sections and those subsections now. We know the Electoral Act, what is in it. We know the INEC manual. We know what INEC guideline for elections said in section 38. It said that in section 38, number 1, after the result is recorded, that the polling unit officer must use the beavers, snap that particular result, and upload it to the IREV for collation. That is section 38 of the INEC's guideline for the election. We know that in the case of Oyetola versus Adeleke, the Supreme Court recognized Electoral Act, guidelines, and training manual as part and parcel of the document that is approved by law, which anybody who wants to know what should be done can refer to and what should not be done. We know it's no longer when we don't care. P2B has pushed us to care. We all have read it front and back, flipped the page, marked it, looked at it, compared it with other judgments you people have delivered. We know what you people have done to people who fought certificate before. We know how you people made APC to lose the governorship seat of Bayelsa State because of inconsistency in the name of the deputy governor. We know how you people deny people, you people in appeal court, deny people their House of Rep position because they forged NYSC certificate and degree certificate. We have seen that somebody came with accounting degree in 1993, business, whatever, in 1999. Every election, the degree certificate is changing. Is that not inconsistency? Supreme Appeal Court, we are waiting. We are waiting on Wednesday to hear how you people will pass, how you people will become Jesus and say that all these sins have been washed away. Or where you people, or when you people will say, alas, your sin has found you wanting. Thank you.
States in section 60, by the way, that transmission of election results shall be done in a manner as determined only by the chairman of INEC. The chairman of INEC then by himself released the guidelines and regulations for the 2023 elections, in which he stated that transmission of results from the polling units shall be done via the BVAS system. Okay, that's the portal, the website, everything that he put there. Election happened. The chairman of INEC now came later, after election that had already happened, and say, sorry, I know I said that this is the way that we do it, but what happened is that our system was hacked, and as a result, we can't do it like this. Okay, no, that's okay, no problem. Let's even assume your system is actually hacked. The normal thing to do in a circumstance, or let me say the fair thing to do in any circumstances, okay, I said we'll do it this way, but my system has been hacked. So how about we do it again? The chairman of INEC say, no, don't worry, let's just carry on like that. I have the result. You have the result from where?
Exactly. Thank you, my brother. Where did you get fans? It looked dramatized, but I think we can end like this. That's exactly what happened.
Honestly, Nigerians, we've all seen the kind of nation we have, and we can't continue this way, like Mr. Peter Obi will always say. That we can't continue this way. Look at the headline that I have on the screen, that ahead of tribunal judgment, the sitting president had closed-door meetings with defense ministers and service chiefs. So we are not praying for any kind of, protest that will not be in accordance with our laws or our constitution. We have that freedom to express ourselves, and we have that freedom to also say that, okay, tribunal, your ruling didn't go well. So they shouldn't be frightening Nigerians, because we can't just sit down and allow them to cook up anything they want and just release it to the public. Talk like you made mention that before now, they used to just come up with whatever and tell Nigerians, and Nigerians will believe, and we'll just move on. But this time, everybody wants to be educated. Everybody wants to follow up whatever is happening, in the political arena in Nigeria. And we have reached that point that we've been waiting for. In 2 days' time, this judgment will be delivered. And from the look of things, from their body languages, we heard Olanipekun speak, SAN Olanipekun. He spoke 2 days ago, and he was saying that it's because of all the tribalistic, gestures that we have in the country. That is the problem that we are having currently. But I tell you, Peter Obi is never somebody that, campaigned on the basis of his tribe or his religion. He told us, don't vote for me because I am from this section of the country. Don't vote for me on the basis of my religion. Vote for me because you believe I've got the character. I am credible enough to handle this position and to take Nigeria from wherever it is today to a better place. And on that ground, many Nigerians embrace Peter Obi. But you can see what is happening. If you use your inner eye, you'll be getting some messages as looking at what is happening currently. Like, Doctor, you said that the president of Nigeria, President Tinubu, has left for India, meaning that he doesn't want to be in the country while the judgment is dispensed, so that it might end up being that, oh, he was not even around before this happened. They must have arranged all this, but we will not take anything that does not represent justice, because this country must be rescued. This country must move forward. Honestly, there are so many grounds, upon which the sitting president should be disqualified, even without much struggles from our judges. There are so many things. You've mentioned the forfeiture. That alone is a very strong point to disqualify him. Is it the double nomination from Shetima? That one is another thing. The APM as a party is also fighting on that ground. And Peter Obi also presented part of his prayer on that ground. I don't know how these people will come up with whatever they are planning to come up with to say that they are not going to disqualify the sitting president. Honestly, don't forget that Atiku went to the US to get his certificate. There's this forgery of a thing, and we talked about double nationality. Though, Doctor, you were saying that because they were not, the opposition parties did not bring strong witnesses, maybe from those countries, to come and testify. Those may not really be strong points. But outside that, I think all other opposition parties have got some strong grounds, as in for the judges to decide that they are going to disqualify this sitting president. So I don't know if they don't disqualify Tinubu. I don't know. Nigerians will hardly believe we've got a country. And I don't even know how people outside this country or the international community, how are they going to look at Nigeria? Does it mean we've not got a judiciary that is really independent, a judiciary that cannot allow pressure, that cannot, allow any form of intimidation? Anyway, we are still hopeful that God will give them that courage, will give them that boldness to give us this justice that we've been yearning for, because I think this is the right time to rescue Nigeria. So, Doc, let's hear your closing thoughts and we call it a day.
As you're talking, I got a text that just popped on my phone and it vanished. It says, just begin to make plans because they will be announcing a pre-recorded judgment to retain BAT tomorrow. Now, what the text message is trying to say is that, you see, they announced today that the result, that the judgment will be on Wednesday. It was not today that the decision was taken. The decision was announced this morning. And yesterday was not a working day. Saturday is not a working day. For the clerical duties in court, they don't work on Saturday and Sunday. So it was Friday. That might be a conspiracy theory. But what the person is trying to say is that under the threat of the government. This judgment had already been, as it were, written and read to their hearing before the so-called colloquium that they were involved. That is the managing of the crisis. And then those who are flying out, going to G20, and those who are flying in and going to G20 plus started moving. But as I said, I pray to be wrong in this, my pessimism. Not because the evidence is not there, not because the law is not breached. But you see, when they say go to court, they must have somebody there. When INEC chairman blatantly abused the law, I mean, you played Fars now. What Fars was trying to say, and which is the truth, is this. The law asked me to do this, but because the circumstance is no longer good for me, I will keep the law aside and do what I feel like. And you must accept it as a law. That's what INEC chairman did. That's what INEC chairman did. Even though there is a path to remedy the situation, if a circumstance makes it easy for you to obey the law, there is a path to remedy the situation. He did not care. And something gave him boldness. Nigerians, we must remember all these things. And all these judges, retired judges of the Supreme Court and the SAN that are now in their own enclave trying to warn us ahead of time of not bringing down the roof of Nigeria on Friday. And then they are telling us on Monday, the judgment on Wednesday. We are not babies. We are not imbeciles. We have brain in our head. But I think it is going to be a shame to the man who will let himself be the voice that will speak on behalf of these people who are raping our commonwealth. I pray that when I sit here on Wednesday, and I'll be wearing green, that I'll be wearing green and white, and I will say Nigeria is winning. I was wrong in my pessimism. I pray that I will not come here on Wednesday to say, oh, so just as I predicted, these people have carried out their wicked acts. I pray that God will bless Nigeria and bless all the efforts we have been putting in. Thank you.
Yeah, so let's just briefly take some of the comments.
The Nigerians can never give Nigerians freedom. The only thing that will give Nigerian freedom is revolution. Believe in Nigeria to your peril. If you know, you know. Yeah. It's actually Nigeria that will give Nigerians freedom. I believe that. It is these old men that will never allow Nigerians to take back their country. You know? So, this prayer has been said and is still ongoing now. The hand of the will be moved. Seeing the tears, the sufferings of the people. Though it won't be easy, just like in the biblical Israelites. I agree, my bro. I agree, Damien. Thank you. Thank you. I really do. The evidence are too weighty to be ignored, dismissed, thrown out, or treated with laxity. I agree with you, Damien. I definitely do agree with you. And that's why I keep saying, how are they going to wash away all this sin? How are they going to do it? Upholding the status quo is breaking the constitution and doom for the country. Yes, that reminds me. You remember what Liviu Zoku said? He says that this petition will determine the nature and the structure of Nigeria's electoral jurisprudence and constitutionality going forward. Because many things they prayed for has to go back to either reconstruct and rewrite our constitution. I'm telling you. After they finish it, either they keep our constitution going or they bastardize it. That our constitution will now become whatever you want it, you could just manipulate it to suit your purpose. You know? All right. We're going to call it a quit now. Thank you so much. I'd be surprised if the judges do. It's okay. Whatever. We'll see. Tomorrow we'll be here. We continue. Have a good night rest, my dear. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc, for your contribution. So, guys,
Yeah.
thank you very much for being a part of today's live session. We appreciate your presence. Thank you very, very much. Please do us a favor, like this video so that you too can recommend it to others. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification bell. We'll see you again here tomorrow, the same time. God bless you and have a good night's sleep. Bye.